Alright guys, I'm here to show you how to change a tire on the side of the road. Now, this is just a Dodge pickup truck that I have to do other work on. I'm using it for demonstration purposes, but as you can tell, the tire's not flat. I'm just doing this because I have it. So what you're going to need is 4-way socket and breaker bar, something that you can pry on it with to take off the lug nuts. This one has 5, you may have 6, you may have 8, but they're all similar in terms of doing it. Now, pickup trucks have a little bit of a different way to pick them up than cars. Cars, you would go on what's called the pinch weld. Or if you have a BMW, you'd have to find it's a lift point. So the pinch weld would be something like this on a truck or a car. It would stick down more. It would be a piece of metal. On pickup trucks, you would go either on the frame or on the control arm. Now I have a jack and jack stand set, so I'm gonna go off the control arm with the jack and put a jack stand underneath the frame for safety purposes, because I am on a little bit of uneven pavement, and that's again for safety purposes. So I'm gonna try and show you how I do it step by step as I'm going. So again, you would need 4-way, and then I have a decent jack set, so you would need some kind of jack. On the side of the road, you're more than likely not gonna have a jack stand, so you would just use your jack. But again, I have my jack stand set. It stays in my box with my jack. So you have your jack stand, 4-way, your jack, and then your pump bar, which is used to raise and lower the jack and to remove pressure from it by turning this screw right here. So right now it's loose. You want to make sure that's tightened so that it holds pressure. Now we're going to come to the front, because like I said, I'm going off the control arm, and we're going to pump it up. Now I'm going to aim for right about the center. I'm going to do it without the pole for a second, just to get it to touch. And then I'm going to put the pole in it and give it a push. 1, 2, and 3. Now, before you take it all the way off the ground, you want to try to line it up so that you can see. You want to take your 4-way, figure out what size it is, and break your lug nuts loose. Ooh. Now if you have a problem like this one where it's not wanting to turn, just get more pressure on it to give you more force. You could do something similar to this. Put a foot on one side and just twist. So I got that one loose. Did not get this one or this one. If you're sanding, it does make it a little bit easier. Hold on, this lug nut's a little swollen, so I'm gonna tap my 4-way onto it to give me just a little more oomph. All right. Now you need to jack the tire, the vehicle up until the tire is completely off the ground. Like so. Doesn't have to be very far off the ground, but since I'm going to be using a jack stand, I'll probably need to jack it up a little bit more. Yeah, I need to go up a little bit just to make sure I can fit the jack under it. Okay. Just to make sure I can put the jack stand under it. See how now, you see how it's hitting right there? That means I'm not going to be able to use this level, so I'll go down one and I'll put it under. Let's ground this. Now I'm not going to lower it. Actually I will. I'll show you how to properly use a jack stand also. So you would take it and you would relieve your pressure, not as fast as that one happened, which it won't work anyways because now the tire's touching the ground, so I will have to go up another level. So let me go ahead and do that. So I actually went ahead and put it up 2 more levels. So it was originally sitting on this notch, so I went up enough to put it down an extra notch. And now let me pull out my other jack stands to use as a stand. You take it and you pull out your bar and you slowly release the pressure just enough so that it is sitting on the frame like so. And now you just go back to your tire. And the beauty of a 4-way is you can just spin it. Sometimes they're loose enough where you can just spin them by fingers. Sometimes you'll have them a little harder where they get stuck coming off. But all in all, it is pretty easy to remove lug nuts from the vehicle. Try to keep your lug nuts in one safe place. If I know I'm going to be moving things around, I'll put it in the case for my 4-way or my jack and jack stands so that they can't roll away. Now, sometimes the tires get stuck, so you may need to wiggle it to get the tire off. You may need to hit it. And you just do it gently. Roll the tire out of the way. And now you would grab your spare tire, whether it's a full size or a partial spare. You would pull it over. You would grab the tire, line up the holes, slide it back on, and then you would put your lug nuts back on. You would only put them hand tight, because if you try to tighten them right now, your wheel is just going to try spinning. So you can get them relatively tight, but not all the way. You would just get them snugged. You would just get them snugged, and then you would get them tightened. You see how I was bringing in the tire? You would do that in a star pattern. You always want to go in a star pattern whenever you have the opportunity. It's going to bring it in the best, and as you can see, I put a little more pressure than it was able to allow, and it caused the tire to spin. So you would tighten it until you reach the point where it would snug down like this, but as I was saying a minute ago, if you try to tighten it right now, you're just going to spin the tire. So what you would do is you want to make sure they're all snug up to the point where it is just turning the wheel, and then you would come over here, grab your bar, and again, because I'm using a jack stand, I have to do a little extra, but you would lift it off the jack stand a little more. You just have to go high enough to pull your jack stand out, and then you would just lower the vehicle until the tire is kissing the ground, so it doesn't roll or anything like that. You would now take your four-way and tighten it. In a star pattern. And the reason you go in a star pattern is so that it tightens it down and sucks it in even intervals. For this one, it would be a 5-point star, so you would go bottom, middle, bottom, right or left, and left or right, depending on which way you start at, because you can start from here or here. So you would go like that or like this. For 6-point or 6 lugs, you would do a 1, 2, 3, and then a 1, 2, 3. You would start at the bottom, go like that, and then go 1, 2, 3. And that's so that, again, it sucks it in. For 4-lug vehicles, you go across from each other. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to go over it again just to make sure that they're all tight. Going over the second time, you don't have to worry about doing a star pattern because you're just checking it, making sure it's tight and not going to fall off. Now once you're done, you come back over to your jack, you relieve the pressure as slowly as you can until you notice that the vehicle is not moving, and then you pull your jack out. If you can, I would always recommend getting a jack set with a jack stand due to environmental factors such as gravel, dirt, grass, things of that nature can cause a jack, which has wheels, to slide. You don't want your jack to slide when you're working on a vehicle, changing a tire, or anything like that, because now that's putting you at risk. So again, I would just buy a jack with a jack stand set. You can find them at places such as Walmart, Amazon. Any parts store should have some. Also, always make sure to check your air pressures regularly. All you do is you take this little cap off at any pump place, or you go and have a shop do it. But they take the cap off, they check your air pressures. If it's low, they'll add air. If it's high, they'll remove air. Best time to check your air pressures is actually when your tires are cold, meaning before you have driven the vehicle. And that is due to the fact that when air gets hot, it expands, so it'll actually add pressure. And then from now on, and I hope that this video helps you in some way, shape, or form. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And again,